Our headlines today. Banks face being fined if they fail to provide free access to cash withdrawals within 3 miles of consumers.
Goodbye to a broadcasting legend. Tributes are paid to Sir Michael Parkinson after his death at the age of 88.
Pub owners asked for an extension to licensing laws for England's World Cup final on Sunday, but red tape means it may be too late for it to be granted.
Fighting to keep feet on the dance floor with cost of living pressures and high energy bills. Nightclubs around the country are struggling to survive. All the details for you live from Liverpool.
Good morning. With the Rugby Union World Cup just weeks away, the row over the participation of England captain Owen Farrell intensifies. It all surrounds his sending off in a game last weekend. That red card was overturned, but World Rugby is now pushing for a ban.
Now, today's papers, many of them are carrying tributes to the chat show host, Sir Michael Parkinson, who died at the age of 88 yesterday. Goodbye to the best, headlines the Metro, the front page featuring images from his long list of famous interviewees, including, of course, the boxer Muhammad Ali.
Daily Star, you can see here, smashes on a picture of Sir Michael's interview with Rod Hull and Emu, of course, the puppet. Famously, you've probably seen this, haven't you? Attacked the presenter, wrestled him to the ground as he tried to carry on with the interview.
Other stories being covered. The newspaper is reacting to yesterday's A-level results, saying that a generation of young people in poorer areas are being left behind and that pupils who didn't have the same access to out-of-school learning appear to have struggled to catch up during the pandemic. And the Daily Telegraph leads with France intercepting fewer Channel migrants than last year, despite £480 million of funding from the UK to help stop those crossings. It says the figures obtained from French authorities have been described by Conservative MPs as disappointing and dismal.
So we're going to be spending a bit of time this morning celebrating the career of Sir Michael Parkinson and talking about some of the interviews over the years that have been, they're part of the fabric of British television.
And I know he was often asked about his interviews and he's often asked about his favourite. One of them, I'm sure he did say, it's been reported widely that one of the famous was with Muhammad Ali, who he interviewed a couple of times and just said he was such a big personality and kind of didn't hold back at all. It's funny we saw that picture of Michael Parkinson with Emu because apparently he really disliked that interview. I mean, who likes a big emu?
It was a joy. It was a joy to watch.
It was a joy.
It was a joy to watch when less of that kind of thing was seen.
Yes.
That's one of the things we'll hear more and more this morning. A lot of this stuff is the first time we'd seen sort of people talking. Clearly not Emu in that case. So lots of people paying tribute, as you might imagine, to Sir Michael Parkinson, dying at the age of 88.
Sir Elton John has said he loves spending time with Parky, posting a photo of them on the Radio 4 programme Desert Island Discs. The singer described him as a real icon who brought out the very best in his guests.
Some comments from Stephen Fry said his first appearance on Parkinson was impossibly thrilling, sharing a picture of himself with Michael Parkinson and the late actor Robin Williams. He said that, unlike most people, Parkinson was always 100% himself.
David Beckham has posted on Instagram, "We say goodbye to the best," and writes he was so lucky to have been interviewed by Michael and to be able to spend time talking about football and family. He also references the famous moment his wife revealed her rather intimate nickname for him on the programme.
And just looking at the Yorkshire Post as well, dedicating its front page to the proud Yorkshireman, alongside a full image, a quote from his close friend and former cricketer Dickie Bird, who simply says, "There will never be a chat show host like Michael Parkinson. There will never be anyone better than him in your lifetime, my lifetime, or anyone else's lifetime."
And, you know, they were childhood friends.
That's right.
They were absolutely... And Michael Parkinson, even though Dickie Bird went on, obviously, into the world of cricket, Michael Parkinson had ambitions of playing cricket.
Well, let's see then how this morning's front pages are looking. And starting there with the death of Sir Michael Parkinson, which is marked this way in the Yorkshire Post with a quote from his good friend Dickie Bird, "He was the best." Goodbye to the best. That's how the Metro front page reports the death of the legendary TV talk show hosts. The Mirror too calling him our greatest. Now, The Sun shows Michael Parkinson with Muhammad Ali, the other person who usually merits that title. And to the Star, he was simply the king. After yesterday's A-level results, then moving on to other stories, the Eye says that they show a generation of young people in poor areas being left behind. The Guardian says thousands of young people have missed out on the top grades as results plummeted. And the Mail lead in there with the missing treasures from the British Museum and the sacking of one of its top curators. The Express has an exclusive claiming that the Chancellor can now afford to cut income tax because of record revenue coming into the Treasury. And the Times says that chemists and private clinics are to be allowed to sell COVID booster jabs in future after vaccine manufacturers agreed to make them available commercially. The Telegraph says France is intercepting fewer illegal migrants than last year, despite being given £480 million in funding by the UK to help them. The Financial Times reports that Labour is watering down plans to strengthen workers' rights, gain more support from businesses and counterclaims that the party is their enemy. And if you want to see any of those front pages again or read the stories, just scan the QR code which is on your screen.